I work on different chapters, which is about chapters of my life. And all together they are the narrative of my life. And mostly it's about the identity, the representation of women through the camera. And then if I talk about identity and the identity of these women in this specific place, which is my country, Iran, I talk about my own identity. I am one of these women, and each project starts with my own photograph or my mother's photographs. So that is kind of, they link together, something which is really deeply personal and then pertains to a general issue. I became interested because of the strong contrast which I could see in my country about having different identity in public places and these private places, and find out which one is real me. Who am I? Am I the person who wear my scarf and go to school and even pretend I am a good citizen, I am a very good person of this country and you can accept me? Or is it the one who come home and go with her friends to a party in a family without any limitations, any standards? The subjects of my works are women in Iran. It's about look at these women closer in a different way as individuals and as persons who have their own personality. Because of the theme of these projects, I always wanted to have a conversation with my subjects. I didn't want just to turn the camera, take my photographs, go home. I always wanted to have a connection, listen to these women, and then take the photographs. And it actually made a beautiful connection between us. It's not most of the time really easy to go to someone and ask, can I have your fingerprint and your ID photograph? I heard so many no's, actually, while I was working on this project. Can I take a photograph? This is my project. I am going to do this. This is some of the samples. No, we don't want. And I respect that person. But I heard so many beautiful yes from these women, and they participate. They became part of this project. After 5 years, I met a very beautiful lady in Iran while I was working on that project. She was really kind and very simple woman. She was amazing. I talked to her and she accepted. She gave me her ID photograph and also her fingerprints. But it was almost more than 2 years ago, my mom contacted me and she asked me, can you remember Shirin? She asked me to ask you to remove her photograph out of your work. And first I was thinking, can I ask the reason? And then I thought, I am not allowed to ask the reason, because that is again about self-expression, and that is her life. If it's her decision, I should just follow her decision. So she is still in the book. She is present in the book, but at the same time she is absent, because you cannot see her face and you cannot see her fingerprint. And I decided to write a text about her. And I wrote a letter for her, and I wrote to her, actually it's a letter from my heart, and it's full of silence, because I don't know what to tell you. I started to work on that project almost 15 years ago, when I started to study photography in Tehran University. So it is about the archive photographs, about the women of the past, the women where they became subjects of the camera for the very first time in Iran, 2 or 3 years after the invention of the camera. So these women are, they call them the women of palace in the history of Iran. I had 2 years research about these women and their real life. How was their life behind this royal life? How did they feel as women in that palace? Because the king had 117 wives. So I found their handwritings, diaries, and one of them, she was a poet. I found her poem. And those days I was working on my identity. I was thinking, actually struggling between my private and public identity. And I found the title of her poem, This Woman, which belonged to 160 years ago in Iran, the title was Black and White. It was her identity as a woman in the palace, which was white, and her real secret identity, it was black for her. So I just started to combine these faces, those historical past faces, to the contemporary faces. I concealed the faces of today's women behind the mask of the women of past, because I thought they are still the same restrictions in this place, even after more than 150 years. But still women, they have this problem of double identity.